Greetings and bienvenue, midnight crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
It's going to be a long post. Going to try and green text, but we'll see how long it lasts. This started about 7 to 8 years ago, 2012 or 2013. I moved into an apartment with my GF at the time. I'm young, 20-ish, so is she. I don't believe in anything paranormal or spiritual, neither does she. In college and working full-time, I have these long conversations about life and general stuff with my GF, but she never remembers them in the morning. We are both baked most of the time. Start talking to her late at night, turn my head and she isn't there. Ask her the next day and she went to bed like 3+ hours earlier than our conversation. This happens a few times a week. I blame it on the weed. We moved into a new apartment. Same shit keeps happening. I can see her beside me, sitting on the couch. We are cuddling. I physically can touch her. Then I turn to look at her more than the corner of my eye and no one is there. I assume schizophrenia.jpg and get some tests done. All clear, no delusions or voices or visions, other than the aforementioned one. I'm not prescribed meds. We break up after 2 or 3 years. I buy a house. Thank you student loans for down payment, and move in alone. I get sober, no weed, no drugs, just work and school. I still have her sit beside me every night, but every time I try and actively look, nothing's there. I'm having 3-hour+ long conversations about life with her replying. It's an active conversation every time. Think nothing of it, still don't believe in ghosts. Eventually get back with the girl after a year and a half apart. Kick out roommates acquired 2 months before we got back together. Still seeing and talking to the thing that pretends to be this girl. One day bring it up to her.
Oh yay Anon, she's been in this house since I've stepped foot. I see her all the time. She doesn't really do much except hang around.
Keep seeing this woman thing. She sits beside me and cooks with me, showers with me, etc., even when my girlfriend isn't around. Eventually, after a few more years, I will have a kid with a real girlfriend. See woman more often, now accompanied by a small child around 8 years old if I had to guess. Bring it up to girlfriend again.
Oh yeah Anon, she never left. She's just chilling. By the way, have you been seeing the little boy around lately? I'm pretty sure he hangs out in our son's room and it's why he's laughing half the night.
I go white-faced and freeze. I didn't mention the little boy thing at all. I explain what's happening and what I've been seeing. She isn't fazed, no big deal, just a ghost. The ghost things aren't exactly doing anything. I just end up talking to the woman when my GF is in bed, thinking it's my girlfriend till I check in the morning when she went to bed. Hear footsteps late at night. Little boy running around my son's room. My son is in a crib and doesn't walk yet. Okay, cool, ghosts are real, no big deal, no one is being hurt. Around 4 years later we moved. We had a daughter about 2 years after my son. Nothing in this house. I don't see her for 6+ months. I forget about her and the kid. March 2020. I turn the TV off after the now wife, former GF, goes to bed and I'm frozen. I cannot move a muscle. I'm looking at my reflection on the black screen of a turned off TV. I see it. There is a vaguely humanoid shadow thing beside me. Elongated finger claw things, a plague doctor's beak, for lack of a better description. The edges are hazy, like smoke. I feel an absolute primal terror as a grown man that I have never felt in my life. Again, I'm 100% sober and have been for a few years. It gets closer and closer. I can see it in the reflection of the turned-off TV reaching its hand, claw towards me. It gets within a few centimeters or a half inch. I'm fucking terrified. I can't even describe how scared I am. I begged Christ to save me, seriously begged like a dog. I wasn't exactly religious. Terrifying shadow thing floats to the corner of the room, its hand covering its face. Finally I can move again. I turn around to face it and bam! There's nothing there. Wife comes out of the bedroom asking me to come to bed. Next day I buy a tiny metal cross to put on my front door. Only room I don't see this thing is the kitchen where our front door is. Buy Bibles, literally 5 in different translations. I'm multilingual. Still see this thing everywhere but that room. I've never seen the little boy ghost since moving, by the way, just an aside. Wife never sees this shadow ghost thing in the new place. I see it daily following me from room to room through my peripheral vision. Pray daily, it doesn't get close or anything. Marital issues, wife and I separate. She's not home, both kids aren't home. I go to bed. I wake up, it's still March. All my fishing stuff is taken out of the basement and spread all over my living room. No one else is here. I changed the locks, only I have the key. Windows all locked. I freak out a bit, but get over it. A couple days later, a bunch of logs from my wood pile thrown all over my yard. Big 50+ lb logs I have yet to split. Start thinking something is fucking with me. Stuff moving around in rooms I'm not in. I'm hearing footsteps and doors open. I'm home alone. I start running around the house with a machete looking for intruders. Everything is locked, with multiple locks all with different keys that only I have. At this point I'm confident there can't be any intruders. My stuff is still moving from room to room. Seasonal items laid out and moved even though I haven't touched them. My kids stay over for the night. Put them to bed, go read some stuff and go to sleep. I wake up sometime in the middle of the night. It sounds like there's a goddamn Irish step dancing class going on. Storm through the house, with my machete just in case, nothing amiss. I even manage not to wake the kids up. Go to sleep thinking maybe my furnace is fucked. Wake up and go get the kids. My son is cheery and bubbly, everything is fine. I open my daughter's room and holy fuck. Books thrown all over the room, the dresser is tipped over, clothes everywhere. Toys and stuffed animals haphazardly strewn about. I call everyone with old house keys, even up to 2 previous owners, and ask them who's fucking with me. I call the police. They didn't find prints, the windows were all still locked. No forced entry. I have the only set of keys and padlock keys into the house. Nothing shows up. Kids go back to their moms. Stupid shadow with claws and hazy beak still hanging around, moving stuff from my attic to the basement stuff to upstairs, etc. I've set up cameras, nothing happens. I'm not sleepwalking. I turn off my cameras, lock myself in my bedroom for the night with everything secure with a minimum of 2+ locks per every door and window. Fucking furniture starts moving floors overnight. What is going on? Maybe invoking Christ's name was a fluke, since it doesn't stop all this stuff happening. I've tried the salt thing and burned sage throughout the house as well as sweetgrass. This is happening every night. I'm seriously talking about like 30-pound pieces of furniture moving up or down 1 to 3 floors. There's nothing sitting beside me anymore listening and talking to me. Now my bookshelves are tipped over with all my books all over the place, my cutlery thrown around the house. My goddamn totes of memorabilia are opened and things are arranged in neat lines with no apparent pattern. What the hell is going on? Before I could look at it directly, it was a taller woman, dark hair, white nightgown-like dress. She looked like she was wet, drenched head to toe. Now she's just a shadow with no apparent gender. New claws, a beak, like a plague doctor but not exactly, and naked. Just like black scribbles manifested into reality. The little boy ghost is gone. I'm a shit artist. Claws kind of like this but no defined edges, very hazy, smoky. Hope the video is converted to WEBM correctly, using mobile, pain in the ass without PC access. This is what my daughter's room looked like when I woke her up. It was tidy, neat, and 100% organized before she went to bed. She's 18 months and can't get out of her crib. Doors are child-proof on both knobs. Windows are locked and on the second floor. I know this board is one of the slower ones, but shit guys, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. Give me something here. It's still happening.
Friend, the following seems to have occurred. It knows you know it's not that girl, and is now feeding off fear, not love, attraction. It has gone after a loved one. Motives are mostly unknown. My advice is as follows. Steel yourself. Remind yourself you feed it if you are afraid, and it will do its hardest to make you so. Easy way to do this is become angry. Due to not being religious before, ditch that Christian stuff. It won't work because you don't believe it will. Learn proper banishing and warding methods. Considering your current desperation, maybe have a priest perform an exorcism. Before you said religion won't work. It won't for you, but will for the priest. You are going to have to find what works for you. Start with wards. I hope I have been of some service. Best of luck, friend.
Hello, X. Once upon a time my mother and I went to an antique mall in Georgia and I found myself immediately drawn to these paintings. I thought their slight cartooniness was unique. According to the dealer, they were painted in the 1950s, but other than that not much is known about them. I had just graduated high school, so my mom bought them for me as a gift since I liked them so much. We named the girl Kit and the boy Chip. They were given to me in 2011, but I wasn't able to hang them up until 2013 since I was living with my aunt until that point. As soon as I hung them up in the new apartment, my roommate and some of my friends would comment on how creepy they seemed, the boy in particular. Our first night in the apartment, my roommate and I heard a crash coming from the living room. She inspected the area, but she didn't see anything knocked over. She slept in my room that night. After that, I left the light above them on since they are only kids and might be afraid of the dark. I did that facetiously, yet it was partially an instinct. Spooky enough, it seemed to work. There were maybe 1 or 2 incidents after that in the next year we lived there. My roommate and I moved into a new place with my boyfriend and a couple other roommates a little over a year ago. Since we moved in, Kit and Chip have been left in the hallway, the back of their portraits turned to everyone else. I had been trying to get someone to help me hang them up since I don't have the tools myself, but the roommates have always been reluctant to help. I suppose I could have hung them up myself, but I guess I didn't want to hang them up and have to deal with everyone telling me how creepy they look. I took it a little personally since they were paintings I picked out and I frankly still find them to be kinda cool. Anyway, despite these being somewhat new apartment buildings, there have been some unexplainable occurrences. There was one night my boyfriend and I were staying up just chatting in the dark. In the middle of our pillow talk, we hear what sounds like someone hitting their foot against his acoustic guitar. He leaves his guitars everywhere on the floor, so it's hard to avoid tripping over them sometimes. I turned on my lamp to check around the guitar to see if maybe something fell off my bed on top of it. I didn't see anything near it. On top of that case and a few other things, my roommates seem to have had a few experiences of their own in the house. One of them has a cat, and she and the other friend that share a room frequently notice the cat's attention to a particular corner of the room. 2 weekends ago my boyfriend and I went to a convention. Apparently one of the nights we were gone, our roommate adjacent to ours heard something fall over in our room. Other than the paranormal experiences, it seems that all of us here deal with a somewhat constant stream of bad luck since moving into this apartment. It isn't really a lot of concrete evidence, but that isn't why I am posting today. I was actually wondering what your feelings are when you look into the paintings. Do you feel creeped out like my friends? Or do you feel you need to protect them like me? Either way, we have decided for tonight to at least let them show face up in the kitchen. We will hang them up tomorrow when we don't have to worry about waking the neighbors with the hammering. Maybe the little bit of attention will appease them.
Be me. Move into a new apartment. On the second floor, but there's a staircase leading down to my own one-car garage. The apartment itself is fine, but I immediately notice weird shit with the garage. Weird smell, like wet dog smell, but also metallic and burns my nostrils. Straw-like blonde, brown hairs all over the garage floor. Reddish-brown stains on the concrete floor, looks more like blood than shit. Weird but okay. The previous tenant probably just kept their dog down here. Air out the garage for a day or two and sweep out the hairs. Turn the garage into a storage area, but I also start going down there to drink and smoke. Man cave. As the year lease goes on, I start to feel this weird angry energy. Chalk it up to the stuff going on in my life at the time, but deep down it feels like there's something else going on. Start hearing weird sounds from the garage, walls, other rooms, but chalk it up to apartment walls being paper thin. The lease is finally up and it's time to leave. Moving out takes longer than expected. The last day that I have the keys and I'm there really late at night by myself packing up the last few boxes of stuff. I start to feel this impending sense of doom, but I try to ignore it. Nobody's here, Anon, don't be a pussy. I start to get a distinct feeling that I'm being watched. The lizard brain starts going crazy and I am feeling genuine fear. No idea why I feel this way, but every fiber of my being is telling me GTFO immediately. Pick up a box or two and start making my way towards the door. Something inside me says to walk calmly, and whatever I do, do not turn around. Genuinely freaking out at this point. Something is watching me, it's angry at me. For some reason I know that if I turn around it will be there and it won't be good. Suddenly I get a mental image of a gaunt figure standing 10 yards behind me. Chalk white skin, over 6 feet tall, buggy furious eyes staring right at me, seems to be waiting for my next move. Do not turn around, times 10,000 inside my head. I lose my nerve, sprint to the door, fling it open, and rush outside. Another mental image of the figure lunging towards me as I leave, but it's unable to cross through the doorway to get outside. Hear the aforementioned weird noises again, but this time it's distinctly from inside the apartment that I just left. Don't bother to lock the door or turn the lights off. I even leave the last few boxes of my shit. Maintenance guys can deal with that. No fucking way I'm going back in there again. Flee in my car. What the fuck was in my apartment? Was there a demon or something living with me? For some reason I always had a gut feeling that someone had self-end themselves in the apartment, or more specifically the garage, but I figured the leasing office would have had to disclose that information to me. I'm not an over-imaginative person. I'm usually very grounded, but this encounter scared me like hardly anything has ever scared me before. I've had guns pulled on me, but this type of fear was something more primal.
My friend used to live in a haunted house. The previous owner of the house used to lock up his wife in the cellar because he thought she was gonna go out and sell herself out while he was out working. He also used to beat her with a hammer, and there were some bloody curtains in the cellar when they moved in. He also used to beat his son, and later the son hanged himself in the upstairs bedroom. Well, before I knew any of this, I was visiting him one summer and stayed overnight. We were just getting ready to go outside to take his dogs out for a walk. At the time his sister lived in the downstairs bedroom and I was sitting on the stairs waiting for him. I heard someone doing dishes in the kitchen, so I asked him if his sister was there as I hadn't seen her. He tells me, no, his sister wasn't home, and acted kinda spooked after I told I heard someone doing the dishes. Later I heard from his sister that she had been seeing weird nightmares while in the house. One time she told me that she had seen a dream of a bloodied boy in the bathroom washing his face, and told her to leave the house. Also his uncle, who was doing some repairs in the house before my friend moved, and swore that one day he was working in the kitchen and he heard someone running very fast up and down the stairs. He went to look and no one was there. The fucking house spooky as shit, and he moved out of there couple years later, but never really talks about anything that happened there.
I've lived in my apartment for just over a year, and there have been really creepy things happen. I don't know what to make of it. Not too long after moving in, I had my partner and best friend over. We were having dinner and watching a movie. Out of nowhere we started to hear weird noises in the storage room. There was next to nothing inside it, and no way it would have been our neighbors, as the next door was empty, and the noises we heard wouldn't have been clearly transferred through the floor. It sounded like soft scratching and whispering, but when checked out, there was nothing. There have been many things like this since. We have a 2-year-old son. He was playing in his room with the light on and we could hear him. We were cleaning up lunch in the kitchen and noticed that things were quiet. We rounded the corner and his light was off, he couldn't reach it. As we went and entered his room, he was crouched in the corner doing something with his hands. After calling his name a few times, he whipped his head around, whispered, "Where's my mommy?" and ran right past us out of the room. We turned to follow and he ran right over to his table and sat down and said, "Mommy, come color with me," like nothing had happened. We were watching a movie in the dark late one night, little guy at his grandpa's overnight, and our friend was over. As we were watching, our friend saw something out of the corner of his eye in the hallway, and the only light was coming from the TV. He jumped and yelled, "What the fuck?" We paused the movie and turned on the lamp, and he told us that he thought he saw movement in the corner of his eye. He turned to look and caught some shadow peeking around the corner and shot back behind it into the bedroom. Sometimes, just talking at night, we all will hear what sounds like whispering and soft laughter, sounding like it's coming from behind us or in another room, and look and there's nothing, but as soon as we go back to what we're doing, it resumes. There have been doors open that weren't open minutes ago, plates from the back of the counter slide off and across the floor. I can't count how many things have happened. We've come home at 11 before, and noticed the balcony curtains open and saw a shadowed figure standing there, and shone a flashlight at it only for it to disappear immediately. I don't know what to make of any of this.
Hey, long-time lurker here. Had weird stuff happen to me a few times, but nothing comes close to what happened 2 days ago. I'll try to greentext all of it. Be me. Be out with a friend. Let's call him BB, and I go to a friend's house. Play vidya. Joke around. Have a great time. 11:20 rolls around, so B and I decide to pack up and go for a walk or something. From the balcony of our friend's apartment we see an abandoned house we go to hang out in from time to time. Haven't been there for a month or two. 10 minutes later we are at the house. We enter. What.jpg? The floor has been cleaned of rubble and smashed glass. The small rooms that were used for toilets are turned into makeshift doghouses. Like 4 dogs run out of the house through the back window. On the first floor all windows are floor-to-ceiling kind. B says,
"Fuck this, man, let's get something to protect ourselves with if the dogs come for us."
I reluctantly agree. He picks up this plastic window frame thing and we go back in. Go in, grab out phones and use them as torches. Check the first floor and there is nothing new, just that all the rubble has been piled on near the side windows. We go upstairs. Halfway up the stairs we hear fucking wheels creaking like on a shopping cart or wheelchair coming from the roof. B and I look at each other like WTF is going on.
Maybe it's the windows.
I fucking know it's not, since there are just frames of windows on the roof. Next thing we hear is movement. B bails, I bail too. We panic a bit but then calm down thinking it's a dog or a cat or something. For some reason I give him my phone and I took the weapon. We go back in. On the second floor we hear more shit coming from the roof. I start banging the walls and shouting as we go up to the roof to scare off whatever is up there. B is behind me, dual-wielding phones for light. Go up the stairs. Tactically check the left and right of the stairs. Nothing. Stand there checking out the windows. Footsteps above us. Note the footsteps are not heavy but are not light either, so it was not a rat or a guy fucking with us. Shit pants. Hit the roof with weapon footsteps. Stop, then continue above the stairs. We panic and go down a floor. B is scared and wants to leave. For some reason I want to stay and see what it is. Convince B to go up again. While on stairs, more fucking wheel noises and something that sounded like whispering but was probably movement. On the roof floor now. Footsteps again, but now faster. Above us. In front of us. Stop. Starts again. Really fucking fast now. Going from the window on our left to the window on our right. B is panicked and wants to leg it. I for some reason just grip my mighty fucking piece of plastic and say no. The footsteps sound like they are coming closer to the windows but never close enough so we can see what is causing them. Now there's another fucking footstep sound. There's fucking 2 of them? Something falls from the roof to the ground. Sounds like something landed, not like something fell. B fucking bails on me. I'm angry but follow. As soon as I land first foot on the stairs, we hear this gut-wrenching screech behind me. Somewhere between wheezing and the wheel thing we heard earlier. As if that was not enough. We hear fucking laughing. Same as before. Something in between wheezing and a child laughing quietly. 300 miles per hour down the stairs. First floor. There are 2 people there. A man and a woman. Almost hit the fuckers. Ask us what we are doing in a calm voice. Say we hang out here and we wanted to check out some noise we heard upstairs. Tell them about the roof. They avoid the subject. I bring it up 2 more times but it's like they don't hear me. Say they are here to feed the dogs. I don't see any dog food. They don't keep eye contact for long. They just focus on the area behind us. The woman walks behind us to place the food. Talk a little bit more. They are leaving. Fuck it, we are too. They get in their car. We didn't even hear a car coming to the house and park. Check the license plate. Remember it. They start driving. Not right. Too slow, and the car is veering from left to right like a child is driving it. First they act weird, now they can't drive. Fuck me.og. We leave. Check the clock. It's 1:30 a.m. Somehow we were there for 2 fucking hours, but it felt like 30 minutes, maybe 1 hour.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.